And good afternoon, everybody. It's story time. Yes, it's story time with yours truly here. And it's not just yours truly, as you know, today. This is a big day because last week, did we talk about whether or not Brandon would be joining me this week for a review of? I'm sure we did. Well, anyway, Brandon is standing by to tell us all about his experience seeing Elton John at MetLife Stadium on Elton's farewell tour. By the way, correction, Brandon helped correct me on this. I think it was during last week's show and maybe during one of my Studio B shows, I mentioned that Elton John was not appearing in San Diego, and that turned out not to be true. He is actually going to be at Petco Park on November 9th, and right now the cheapest tickets are $215. So guess who won't be going to see Elton John in November?
Oh, come on, Juan. Don't you want to pay those scalpers prices for a chance to see Elton John one time?
Those aren't even scalper prices. Those are website prices. The websites are scalping now. I swear.
Everybody's got to make a buck, Juan. Everyone's got to make a buck.
I guess at my expense, it seems.
But hey, did you know you can't even ever use physical tickets anymore? I don't know if you know that. So it used to be Ticketmaster, the ticket was virtual, but you could print it out and actually go there. But they changed it recently, I think. So in order to prevent like stolen tickets or like fraudulent tickets or something like that. So now there's the code on the barcode changes like every few seconds. So you got to have it.
Feeling we're talking QR codes and shit.
Yeah, so you got to actually have it on your phone, on the app. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So physical tickets, the days of physically bringing a ticket to a ticket taker are gone, dead.
Oh, all those old school scalpers from the 60s and 70s that like, I got two. You want to see the Bulls and the Jazz for the NBA title? I got two right here, 500 each. Come on, that's a discount. They were 2,000 earlier today. I got it. You can get in and see the championship game right here.
Also, no more ticket collecting. There's probably people who've been collecting tickets for forever. Can't do that anymore. I mean, I guess you could take a screenshot of it, but it looks boring. It's a barcode with a logo.
Sure. Yeah,
Now, I don't know if you could see it, but this is kind of, I'm wearing the shirt. I bought two shirts, one for me and one for my mom. And this is what we wore to the actual concert here.
Who had to take out the second mortgage for those?
Actually, they were only like $23. I'm not going to lie, Juan. They were not like up from the official merchandise store. So if you look close, they're actually a little bit blurry because I'm pretty sure someone just snagged the image from somewhere. And like it's a site called Printerval, which just seems like they fulfill the order. Kind of like what we do with Teespring for the BGRN store, where we upload the image and they just fulfill it. So that's what it is. But on the back, and this is actually how I learned that he was coming to San Diego on, they got all the, trying to figure out how to do this. They got all the concert dates there.
And San Diego's on the list there. How about that?
It is, yeah. He actually comes to you guys right before he goes to Phoenix.
I saw, Aaron mentioned that, was it I think it was yesterday.
So your wish came true, Juan. He's going to San Diego. See, the thing is, they're trying to get Elton John basically everywhere that they can book him because they know it's going to be the last one, so they want to give every fan possible the opportunity to do it. So the list of places he's not going is smaller than the list of places he's going.
Well, I was very pleasantly surprised to see that he was indeed coming to Petco Park because there have been a lot of big concerts of late that just kind of like, LA is close enough. That's fine. You want to see us in San Diego? Go up to LA. Or Vegas.
But speaking of which, it was pretty hot for this concert. We'll go into that in a little bit, but you'll notice in all the videos, Elton John was wearing like his, if you know anything about Elton John, he always wears like the fancy costumes that are long sleeve and like have glitter and fancy stuff on them. So he was wearing like long sleeve fancy costumes, and it's I think even after the sun went down, it was like 89 degrees still. When he started, it was like 93. And MetLife Stadium, if you know anything about it, it does not have a roof. That means AC just goes woof. All the air just goes bye-bye. You get a little bit of AC in the corridor, and then once you get to the outside part, it just, like, gone.
Forget about it.
Goes away into the atmosphere. So either Elton John has become so used to performing in every kind of weather conditions that it doesn't faze him, or they had some ice packs in that jacket, or, like, AC on the stage. I don't know how they did it, but
or
he was not sweating at all, so...
Or he's trying to lose some weight. He's just,
I mean, because
it's like a sauna, you know.
Because it was like because I'll tell you what, all of us in the stands, and it was worth it, because he put on a great show. He still got it, Juan. He's going out with a bang. Let me tell you, it was sold out for sure. Like, there is basically no empty seats to be found in this stadium whatsoever. Let's just say he definitely sold more tickets in that one show than the Giants probably have in the last 2 seasons combined. And probably him and the Jets combined, if we're being honest. Basically, they had about 75% of, like, the permanent seats for sale. The only ones that weren't for sale were the ones that were behind the stage because, for obvious reasons. No one wants to see the back of the stage.
Well, there are some greedy concert promoters who have sold behind-the-stage tickets in the past of those outdoor concerts, and people bought them.
But basically, all the ones that were for sale on the permanent seats were filled. But then they also had the floor level, which was they set up temporary seating where the field would normally be. They ripped up all the turf and stuff. So, so if you ever want to know what MetLife Stadium looks like underneath when it's not a football stadium, I could tell you.
But you guys didn't disturb Jimmy Hoffa, did you?
Well, it's not the same stadium, right?
Oh, well, but you see, they didn't use any of the old grounds for that. The old.
No, I believe it's in a completely different. I think it's next door to where it was, but it's not the same stadium.
Just to honor Mr. Hoffa's memory, maybe the mob moved it to the new his body to the new site.
Just like, hold on, construction workers. Before you put the concrete down on the bottom of the stadium, let me just bury something here real quick. And I'll tell you what, I'll make it worth your while. Here's some bucks. Or if you prefer, I can also get you some drugs. Whatever suits your fancy. But if you tell anyone about this, I'll bury you under this stadium next.
Yeah. You will not be going to Club Bada Bing with us after the show, if you know what I mean.
I'll give you some concrete shoes.
This is correct. You will get to know the East River intimately.
You'll be swimming with the fishes.
I'm actually excited about this because I did show some clips of Elton John in Philadelphia on one of my Studio B shows. And actually, didn't I do last week? I think I showed a clip from Philly on Storytime. And it looked really cool. And Elton sounded great. I mean,
he sounded fantastic. I mean, we're going to show some video clips in a bit. Cool. But let me tell you, the audio on my smartphone doesn't do it any justice. The audio is not going to be super fantastic, but it's a smartphone, so what do you want? But in person, he didn't miss a beat. Truly didn't. Like, he hit, like, even the high notes. I got to say, for a guy who's 74, he sounds pretty damn good and is in pretty good health as well. Yeah.
It makes me wonder why he's retiring, but, I guess, he's probably...
I think, he said basically that he wants to spend the rest of his life with his family. He actually said that, one of the videos I'm going to show, he kind of did, for the final song in the encore, he did his, like, little farewell speech, which was, of course, customized to New Jersey/New York crowd.
Sure.
But, and in it, he says basically that, when he gets off the road next year, so he could spend time with the rest of his life with his family.
We're not in Philly anymore, so I take out the cheesesteak references, and then we talk. Let's see, what do they do in New York, Jersey? What do they do? They like
funny.
They like the flat pizzas. Yeah, okay. Well,
he had the exact amount of shows that he did in both East Rutherford, which is where MetLife Stadium is located, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Which is basically just a stone's throw away from New York City. Like, there's actually when you leave and you get back onto, like, I forget what it is, I think I-30 or something, there's the highway splits in two. One way takes you to the GWB, the other, takes you to like the Turnpike.
All right.
What have you. So, but he knew the exact amount of shows he's done in New Jersey. He remembers the exact date of his first show. And he also knew how many shows he played in like East Rutherford. So again, I'm assuming he didn't actually remember that, and that there was some assistant who pulled up those numbers and fed it to him before the show.
Oh, if you'll recall, I don't know if you saw the clip I played from Philly. He kind of does the same thing in one of the clips I showed.
Yeah, it seemed like.
So he's got either he or his people are keeping track, and I think it's a nice touch because you're in that crowd there, and he rattles off exactly how many times he's appeared at MetLife or in the New Jersey area. It adds a personal touch to each.
Oh, he's been touring in East Rutherford long before MetLife was a glimmer in some architect's eye.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was kind of a cool little personal touch. I will say from the videos, because like I said, my sister went to the Philly concert. Yeah. I don't have any of the video from that. It's on her Facebook. But she played the encore where he went from Cold Heart. Like she filmed him playing the Cold Heart song, which we'll play later on. And then Your Song, which he played after. And in between, he said, from my last hit to my first hit, basically, when he was transitioning songs. And he did basically more or less the same thing with slightly different words for this one. So it seems like they're doing a similar format for all the shows and just tweaking it to the audience that they're at,
Sure.
Which, makes sense. But it was kind of a really good farewell speech. But one of the few things, and I don't know if this is common with concerts or not, but one thing that really I found amazing, and we'll have a clip of it later, was that Elton John actually took the time about halfway through the show to pause with the music for 5 minutes and introduce all of his bandmates and give them a shout out. So I don't know if that's common for bands to do.
That actually is very common for the bands to be introduced because especially if you are, a solo artist like an Elton John and you're putting on this big show, they will take the time out to acknowledge all the musicians. Now, if you're traveling with 100-piece orchestra, you're not going to do that. You'll introduce the conductor.
Basically, it's like you spend the first hour of the show just going over all the band members. Okay, are you all bored yet? Are you all still awake? Now we can get to the music.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to introduce the violin section first. In the fourth chair, there's Maureen Stapleton. Third chair, there's Johnny Watts. And on and on and on.
Just 2 hours later, all right, who's ready to hear some music? And meanwhile, the crowd is like this.
Exactly.
What? They're playing music now, finally.
Okay, yeah, all right, I'm here. Yeah, all right, still here.
It's almost like when you go to the movie theater and there's a half hour, 45 minutes of just credit of previews and stuff theater advertisements before you even get to the movie.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because back when I was a kid, you might see one or two of those, and then it goes right to the movie. Nowadays, it's like, camp out for at least 45 minutes before the movie starts,
Basically, you go in, you show up at the theater 20 minutes after the start time, and then by the time you get in there, it'll just be actually starting.
Exactly. So it's a wise thing to be late. Back when I was watching movies in my 20s, you didn't do that because you'd miss the start of the movie. And if you went to one of those theaters that would clear you out after every showing, you weren't going to be able to see the start of the movie again,
Now, you didn't ever actually get to see Elton John in person, I'm assuming, right? In concert or anything?
I have never seen him in person. I have seen, concert clips. I've seen him on television and stuff. And so that would have been a rare treat for me to see him live and in person in concert, and I thought maybe until I saw those Petco Park prices maybe I'd give it a shot, but not in my budget. So
if you start saving now, you might be able to buy one all the way at the very, very top of Petco Park. And snag a good deal on it. Who knows? Maybe someone who will not be able to get off of work that day, and they'll put their tickets up on StubHub for half price. Who knows?
Yeah, right. StubHub for twice the price. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be selling those for a discount because I'm sure all the seats are probably sold out by now. If they're not, they're going to be quickly. Even at the and that's the nosebleed. That's the worst seat in the house.
Yeah, like basically the type of seats that I had. Which, by the way, I was where my seat was that I actually sat in was 3 seats from being as high, was 3 rows from being as high as you can physically be in MetLife Stadium. Like, you know, I could probably have reached over on my tippy toes and touched the back wall, honestly.
Yeah. But the thing is, it didn't matter. You were there, right? And it was just as great an experience because for me, a quick baseball story. Back in 1981, when Fernando Valenzuela was a rookie and setting the world on fire, I visited my sister in LA, and for like 2 weeks, but the Dodgers were on the road for most of that time, and when they were home, Fernando wasn't scheduled to pitch. So I came back to Chicago disappointed until I looked in the paper and saw the weekend schedule for Wrigley Field and the Cubs Dodgers. Fernando pitches on Saturday. I'm like, hot damn. I'm going to get seats. The only seats available were obstructed view seats. So it's like there's a big pole in front of me. Damned if I didn't buy those tickets. And me and Monica went, and we just looked around the pole and watched Fernando pitch for the Dodgers against the Cubs.
I will say that was the only downside one, was that from my seating position, Elton John looked like a little lightning bug in thankfully they had 3 huge screens, and you'll see it in my videos, and they had like basically a camera on him, so for most of the show you could actually see him there. But I tried to zoom in on him sometimes, and even at 10 times zoom it just was so blurry. All you saw was like a white blob essentially. But it was pretty cool. Are you ready to see some videos here, Juan?
That's what I signed up for, buddy.
Let's see some show. Now, I just want to full disclosure to everyone in the audience. All right, I was filming this on a smartphone, not with professional studio equipment here, so the audio is not going to be the best in the world, and it's definitely nowhere close to what it sounded like live in person. So just full disclosure on that, and the video quality is about as good as you can get it from being as far away as I was. You can only get such good footage when you're as far away as I was.
Well, I did show a clip from Philadelphia, I think it was last week, and it was either on Storytime or on one of my Studio B shows, where, you know, and Elton, I forget what song he was singing, but it was a shot from the upper deck, and the person was able to capture the full stage. So maybe they were a little closer than you were at MetLife. We'll see. But
it depends on the size of the stadium, because MetLife is a really big, long stadium. Like, for instance, when I was at the Yankee game at Yankee Stadium, even from the top row, you could actually see pretty decent for like all the players. Now, home plate, they still kind of look like little bugs, but you know, like the infield, like first base, second base, third base, you actually well, not third base, but first base, second base, and outfield, you actually had a semi-decent view, because a baseball stadium isn't quite as big as a football stadium.
Right. Yeah, football stadium, you're going to have some long distances to deal with.
Because, they got to have at least 120 yards worth of just field space,